Okay, so thank you for the ones that came. We're going to start, and we're going to start with Connelly, who is going to be talking about Bitcoin, money sans frontières. So please, a big applause to Anne.
Hi, everybody. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Anne Connelly, and I'm a member of MSF Canada's association. I worked with MSF in the field in both CAR and in DRC, and in the fundraising departments in Toronto and in Dublin. And I'm now working for an organization called Remittances International out of Toronto. So I'd like to ask you guys, who in this room before today had heard or seen the word Bitcoin? Nice. Now, how many of you feel that you could give a really basic description of what Bitcoin is? Not so many. Does anybody in the crowd today own Bitcoin? You do, that's right, you do. So today I'm going to explain what Bitcoin is, how it's transforming the landscape for NGOs like MSF, and how it's changing the world for people in developing countries. There we go. Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency. It's a global currency that isn't owned by any one government or organization. It's peer-to-peer. Anyone can buy it, sell it, or trade it. It truly is a currency without borders. Now, Bitcoin is built upon a mathematical algorithm, which means that it can't be altered by corrupt governments or politicians. Today, one Bitcoin is worth 218 euros, and you can send those Bitcoin anywhere in the world instantly for free. Now, I want to show you just how easy it is to do that. So I'm going to invite my colleague Heather to the stage, and I'm going to send her some Bitcoin right here, right now. Now, because you can't see what's happening on our phones, I've put those screenshots up there so you can follow along. Now, because Heather's going to be receiving Bitcoin, she's going to hit the receive button on her app, and a QR code is going to come up. That QR code links directly to her wallet address. A wallet is kind of like a bank account. It's a secure place to store and send and receive Bitcoin. And just like a bank account, each wallet has a unique address, like a bank account number. So I'm going to, because I'm sending Bitcoin, hit the send button on my app. I'm going to scan her QR code. I'm going to type in the number of Bitcoin I'm going to send her and hit the send button. And within a matter of seconds, it's going to leave my phone and go to Heather's. And that's it. That's how easy it is to send Bitcoin. Now, I want you to imagine if Heather were in Congo and I needed to send her money. It would be just as easy to send Bitcoin with her in Congo as if she were right here beside me. So now that Heather has Bitcoin, where can she spend it? There are an increasing number of companies around the world accepting Bitcoin in return for goods and services. You can use Bitcoin to pay for your next computer, your next vacation, or even your next online date. So now that I've got you all a little bit curious about Bitcoin, I know you're going to go home and you're going to Google it. And I want you to be ready for what you're going to see. There are a lot of skeptics out there about Bitcoin. Some people are worried it's just a giant scam. In fact, the World Bank was worried about that too. So they did a full analysis on the currency and found out that not only was it legitimate, it was actually going to boost global financial inclusion around the world. You're going to read that Bitcoins are used to buy drugs on the Silk Road. This is true, but Bitcoin is also used to build and grow a number of legitimate businesses and fund charitable operations around the world. You're going to read that a lot of people lost their Bitcoin in the collapse of an exchange called Mt. Gox, which just goes to show that if you keep your Bitcoin in an unsafe place, kind of like if you keep your wallet in your pocket in Barcelona, your money's bound to get stolen. The other thing you're going to read is that the price is very volatile. Bitcoin is 7 times more volatile than gold and 18 times more volatile than the US dollar. Some people see this as a huge risk. Others, a huge opportunity. The debate about Bitcoin is kind of like the debate about climate change. There are a lot of voices out there, and it's very important that you're listening to the right ones. Some of the world's most innovative minds are getting behind Bitcoin in a big way. They talk about Bitcoin the same way they talked about the internet in 1994. They say Bitcoin is going to disrupt the financial industry the same way email disrupted the postal service. And while I stand here on stage trying to convince you of the merits of this new digital currency, I want to make something very clear. While you are all going to benefit from Bitcoin, the people whose lives are going to be transformed by it are not sitting in this room. Bitcoin is for the more than 4 billion unbanked or underbanked people in the world. People who live on a cash economy because they can't access financial services or they can't trust the ones that they can. It's for the people of Greece, who on Monday, their government will decide whether to cap the amount of money anyone can take out of their own bank account on a given day. It's for the people of Zimbabwe, where in 1998, their currency went from an annual inflation rate of 32% to an inflation rate of 231 million% in 2008, causing the government to print a $100 trillion bill. People were seen going to the market with wheelbarrows full of cash to buy bread. Wages became irrelevant. People left their jobs. Schools and hospitals shut down. And you may have recently read that the currency is actually so worthless, they're phasing it out. Anyone who's managed to save $175 quadrillion will get $5 US in return. Bitcoin provides access to financial services for anybody with an internet connection. And by 2019, more than 5.6 billion people will have a smartphone, which is nearly 100% of people over the age of 15. One of the most underbanked countries in the world is Somalia. Every year, more than 40% of people rely on transfers of money from family overseas, called remittances, to help them pay for the basic necessities of life, like food, education, and healthcare. In Somalia, the money sent over through remittances is worth more than all of the money spent on humanitarian aid, and development aid, and foreign direct investment combined. In fact, the global remittance market is 3 times that of the global aid industry, with more than $582 billion being sent around the world every year. Most people sending money are sending it home to countries like Kenya, the Philippines, and India, and they're using companies like MoneyGram or Western Union that charge fees of an average of 8%, but as much as 29% off of every transaction. 8% of those fees is $46 billion every year. Imagine the impact $46 billion would have in the hands of the people who need it most. That is the power of Bitcoin. So now that you've seen how it's going to impact people in developing countries, I want to show you how it's going to impact operations for NGOs like MSF. Firstly, MSF could begin by paying their international invoices for things like generic drugs or land cruisers straight from headquarters with the click of a mouse. More importantly, though, how many of you in this room have carried a small package of cash from capital to project? How many of you have had your compounds robbed by thieves looking for a quick grab? MSF could pay all of their staff salaries from capital with the click of a mouse, even from Europe if they wanted to. The money would go directly into employees' cell phones, where it could then be cashed out for local currency. Not only would this eliminate the massive amounts of paperwork, bureaucracy, staff time counting bills, but it would drastically reduce the security risks of transporting and storing large amounts of cash in insecure locations. And just like the families who are paying high fees for their remittances, MSF fundraising departments are paying high credit card fees on every donation that comes through online. In a matter of hours, MSF offices could set up a Bitcoin donation program for free and begin accepting donations from around the world for free, and cashing them out in local currency and providing tax receipts to donors for free. And because making a Bitcoin donation is as easy as scanning a QR code, like I showed you with Heather, that QR code can be integrated into all existing marketing campaigns, including social media, events, video, and in print. Donors can make a donation to MSF at the moment they feel an emotional connection to our work, and I guarantee you they will love the reduced administration costs. If you're thinking about setting up a Bitcoin donation program at your office, know that you're in good company. There are a number of reputable charities around the world already accepting Bitcoin to help them fund their operations. One of those organizations is the Water Project, and their president and CEO, Peter Chassie, sums up Bitcoin perfectly. He says, "I think how it plays out for the nonprofit sector, and whether the sector once again comes up 10 years behind everyone else or leads, is the open question at this point. I hope I've been able to show you that Bitcoin is the future of money, and it's the future of humanitarian aid. But the time to get on board is now."